Namaste, everyone. I'm Jeni Ji. Thanks for tuning in. So now, before I talk about this week's Cosmic Vibes video, let me remind you to hit that subscribe button right down there on the corner. Please like my channel and make some comments. This is another extreme week. We are moving into this eclipse season. We are already here. And this week ahead, this is all about you're being tested. Are you truly buying into these fear tactics that are going on that have been presented to you? Now, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and especially to my fellow Canadians with what has happened with all of these notifications you were gotten and given to you by the so-called leaderships that are trying to restrict you even more. Okay, so before we get involved with that, and before we really talk about the daily events, now, those of you who do watch and are subscribed to my channel, you know that I do go live on YouTube here offering free clairvoyant psychic readings. You have been seeing it every month. Now, mark your calendar dates, get those pencils and crayons out, set the date, because the next live is on Friday, September the 27th at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, or 2 p.m. Eastern. And you can get a free clairvoyant reading from Jeni, only if you're tuned in. Follow me on Jeni Ji Cousins on Instagram. My team posts a lot of notifications as well. I'm going to give you what messages I am hearing for you for this autumn equinox. So if you tune in, I'm just saying, okay, now cosmic vibes, you guys. Seriously. Now, we have moved into the eclipse season. This super duper new moon that had come in, like, oh my gosh, right? You know, you very well could still be feeling those vibes from it because that eclipse started to come in on the 4th and the 5th of September. Now, if you reflect back onto August, how many of you had a really, really challenging month in August? I sure the hell did. I can tell you that. That those things that I just mentioned, that those fear tactics that you started to see those pre-signs on, that you were being shown, that is opened up, you're going to find that this month you're going to resolve it. Only if you stand in your power, only if you're speaking your truth. You know, when that would happen to me, and I'm like, are you seriously kidding me? Like, oh my God, I'm not in a position to pay next year's taxes up front right now. Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously. Seriously. Okay. So there's a lot of other things that are going on in the world. Don't even get me started on the so-called leadership here in Canada. So, you know, there's changes, and there's changes this month specifically with this eclipse. You're going to find that there's sudden endings, sudden shakeups. But then again, when doesn't that happen? You know, every day we're hearing things. Every day we're seeing more truth being exposed. Every single day. You know, and you're going to find that there's still going to be people from your past coming back, and you really have to be careful because there's a lot of, you know, like karmic endings this month. There is a lot of expect the unexpected energies coming in this month. So, you know, like if certain people are coming back, you know, and it'll still linger on, really pay attention to who they were, what happened, and so on. Like if somebody's like, you know what, I'm really sorry or whatever, you know, you can forgive that person. However, it's really important to also know that what you did to me wasn't okay. I'm not inviting you back into my life. I will forgive you so I can move on to have my own peace of mind. Like you're going to also find that loved ones, you know, people that have passed on, your loved ones, if it's your animals, if your guides, they're going to continue coming into your dreams this month, and with certain messages. I just knocked deck cards on the floor there. I'm working on a little tiny little space right now, actually. because I got other things on the go here. However, you're going to find that there's dreams that are going to be shown to you. Like with myself, I've had my dad come in a lot of my dreams, especially with what I've been going through. You know, he's been really coming into dreams. And some people, you might not understand what they're saying. Like I pay attention to dreams, you know, whenever I wake up. That's actually one of the first things I do is work through what was that message, you know, what was truly being shown to me, and so on and so on and so on. You know, and even if you don't understand it, let's say, just as an example, you can say, you know what, dad or whoever it was showed you the message. I wasn't understanding fully the message. Can you come in my dream again? Or can you give me some other sign so I will get, you know, that clarity that I need? Like you can always reach out to me and book an appointment, and I can give you what the message is from what has been happening. Write it down, though. Write it down because there's a lot more to it in your dreams. So just mark down the daily events, because this is going to be like, you know, a week where you could be, you know, even struggling a little bit more still with this energy. Now, the blessing is, thank the Lord, that Mercury retrograde has officially ended on the 11th of September. You know, it ended end of August, as I had mentioned, even in my last videos. However, we still had that after effect, as I call it, but it officially ended on the 11th. Thank gosh, right? So you can still resolve issues. That's one of the really good things. And even on the 7th and the 8th, you're going to find that you could be reflecting back a lot more onto August. You could be reflecting back onto, geez, what really happened to me? What lessons did I learn? You're really going to want to be more balanced. You're going to be like, you know what? Oh, I'm still trying to shake off and have more balance. And I don't want to work through that anymore. You know, I got processed it emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, all of those things, because there's a huge, deep transformation that is going on and has been going on. Because for every breakthrough, you can break through like barriers and your challenges and your difficulties when you're under pressure. Like being under pressure, I don't like being under pressure. Who likes being under pressure? However, it's like, you know what? I got to grab a hold of that because I don't want that to continue on and on and on. I got to resolve this right now, one way or another, one way or the other. If you run from things this month, especially with what keeps coming up, what the eclipse keeps showing you, it's not going to work with you. This is when the eclipse steps in and immediately removes things out of your life, like just like that. That's why it's like expect the unexpected. You could get these unexpected messages coming in from anybody. You know, there's certain people that are getting attacked on social media. I've noticed, you know, there's people talking about really negative things about other people that they know right on social media there. And it's just like, wow, like, why would you not process that within and work through that, whatever it is you're struggling with, rather than to try to bring up that person's name when you don't know their story, when you truly don't know, you're just judging. We should be supporting each other in a positive way. You know, if somebody has a problem, let's say with somebody, if somebody has hurt that person, or so, you know, they betrayed you, or like whatever it is, why not reach out to them and say, you know what, I'm still struggling with this. Can we talk? Whatever it is. Because if you start doing that, behaving that way, what energy you send out is coming right back to you, even harder than what you expect. You know, I just sit back and I'm like, wow. I observe a lot. Like I observe a lot myself. And I'm just like, okay. However, it's really important that these fear tactics, as I mentioned, especially with the so-called leaders, and it can be different people around you as well. It can come from any different forms. Really sit back and say, wow, does that feel right for me? Is that the path I should walk on? Is it okay for you to treat me like this? When you're walking in your truth and know where your heart's intentions are, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. How people see things and situations comes through their own perception. You know, supporting each other in a positive way with compassion towards yourself and others is really, really important. When others are attacking you, when others are being negative, this is your opportunity to say, do I really want to be involved in that? Do I really want to be involved with that negative entity, those negative energies, and so on and so on and so on? Or do I want to take that step back and say, you know what, I want to gravitate and be around people that support me in a positive way, be more with my soul tribe, my soul groups, and such like that. Because when you really have to start defending yourself with certain people, those aren't your people. When you're around people that congratulate you, that say, hey, you know what, I'm here for you, like all of those things, those are your people. Those are your people. It's really important to distance yourself away from other people when you can't be yourself, when you're walking on eggshells. You know, it's important to surround yourself where they're like, hey, how's it going? You know what I mean? They're not judging you for the work you do. They're not judging you for how you look like. They're not judging you, like whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? It's really important, and I don't care who it is. It doesn't matter who it is. And you're going to find that there's going to be changes in relationships as well. You might have already seen that. You've already seen some difficulties coming to the fore from before. Either you're going to resolve those, or it's going to be like, you know what, there's endings coming. So as we move on to the 9th of September, that's a very powerful day, like 9/9. It's a day where you can be feeling more creative. It's a day when you're going to be like, you know what? I need to really take that step back and think before I make that decision. Think before I say this, or think before I say that. You know, if you're in that heated moment of emotions are high, don't, I would seriously and highly recommend to wait till you calm down, and then you can approach that person or situation when you have more of a clear head, because it's so easy to get upset. And there's a lot of things coming to the fore, as we've seen, and so much more is going to happen this month in September. Like, oh my gosh, like I will scan different areas and places in the world, and I'm like, there was a place I was looking at going to, and as I scan that energy, I'm like, oh my gosh, no. Oh my gosh, no, I'm not going there. Not right now, anyways, or not that time. So it's really important to sit back and really tune in to hear your soul speak, because when you do that, you're going to hear more clarity. When something is feeling off, really pay attention to that. You might not get the full insights, but if something's just not feeling right, just kind of sit back, just really sit back, because you might be feeling a little bit more often anxious. So there's going to be a lot more emotions coming through for this, and even as we move along this week, the 12th and the 13th, really see where you are right now. Like, where are you right now? What have you accomplished? Right? Like there's long-term goals, there's shorter goals. Doesn't matter how other people see you, it's where you see yourself. There's certain goals I'm working on, and I always keep quiet, of course, with certain things that I'm working on for various reasons. But it comes by, okay, where was I, let's say January 1st this year? What were my goals? What were my intentions for this year? Where am I now today? It's those baby steps that you can take one step per day. Like what you do on a day-to-day basis will determine your future. Like I've got long-term goals I'm working on myself personally, right? So those probably realistically, maybe springtime, 2025, I'm going to see more of those, where some short-term goals I've done already. So short-term goals, long-term goals, even start writing it down, because your soul has been preparing you for changes. Look back, even, like the beginning of August into, mid-July even. You might have felt that, I'm feeling this kind of pull somehow. I'm feeling like the new is pulling me, but I'm scared or I'm anxious, or maybe I'm really excited. Don't jump so much into the future. Stay more into the now. Okay, what do I need to change? What do I really need to let go of more so? What's not working for me? Who's really disrupting my life? Who's being there for me? Who is supporting me? Who do I keep bumping heads with? Really notice all of these things, because we all have soul contracts with people, and to spend certain time with them, and so on and so on. And you're going to even find that this month, there's more passings coming, sudden this, sudden that. That's just going to continue on and on and on and on and on and on. There's been so many more mental health issues since all of this propaganda started, even more so with COVID started, without going into details, which is what certain organizations wanted, with fear tactics, with trying to control you by the throat, stopping you from living your best life. Look how many bankruptcies and people have lost their businesses around the world. Look who's still in power with this so-called leadership. Truth. I did a warning actually a few years ago, even here in Canada, before the election came in. And I warned people about what was coming if people voted for a certain individual. That's now leadership. And what would happen, and sure enough, it's happened. So people, have really woken up and seen the truth, and it's just going to get more exposed and exposed and exposed. And this is why it's really important for us collectively to support each other with more compassion and kindness. There's so many people struggling out there, so many people struggling. It's like, just when you feel that you've okay, now I'm gravitating towards this new path, and I'm feeling good, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 these two so-called leaders, they stopped you right in your tracks because they're restricting you. It's like you're on a dog leash, for God's sakes. Seriously. So take an important valuation of everything. We have Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, people are like, oh my God, it's Friday the 13th. Actually, Friday the 13th is a really, it's a lucky day. It's a really lucky day. And it's a day of like feminine energy. It's a day where you're going to be like feeling more passionate. Like if you go into that fear zone, like, oh my God, it's a bad luck day, you will attract that. You will create that, right? Like I'm going to be away for a couple of nights during this time. And I'll post photos and such like that. I'm very grateful to be part of an event. So follow me on Instagram as well. Like I have photography, Jeni Ji Cousins as well. And I post some photos and everything. And it's part of one of my projects. And that's why I always stress, when you're really, really working towards things that you're passionate about, it can open up new doors for you in so many different ways. And even yesterday, I'm not going to name names, of course, but I love pumpkin spice. So how many of you are a pumpkin spice person? I love everything pumpkin. Like I that's just me, right? And I was talking to a friend, I was on Twitter, on my photography account on Twitter, And I was like, Richard, I'm not going to say a last name. And I'm like, he's down in Africa, of course, and he's on a shoot and not for animals, no. He's all media involved. And I'm like, so he puts up this post about coffee, and I'm like, oh, hey, what about this pumpkin spice latte? You like a pumpkin spice latte type guy, Richard? He's like, oh, God, no. So we were back and forth bantering with each other. It was like tennis. It's like watching a tennis game, right? He throws something right there on social media about pumpkin spice, and I would, so the people and the viewers would look over to him, and then I would just kind of bluntly throw it right back to him, and then the viewers would look at me. So we were like back and forth on the tennis court with pumpkin spice. I stand up for the pumpkin spice lovers. How many of you all do? Right? It was a lot of fun. We got to have fun. We got to release that inner child within. I really have a twisted sense of humor, for those of you who know me. And it's really important to have fun. And there's so much negativity in the world. There's just like, oh my God, are you kidding me? So much. And it's really how we go about certain things. So you might also find too, because the energy is changing, the frequency is getting higher this month, that there's sleepless nights. How many of you are like waking up and you're like, oh my God, like what is going on? How come I don't get back to sleep? 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., whatever time. And you're like, what the hell is that about? Because the frequency is changing. It's like you're getting downloaded with higher energies and frequencies from the spirit world, without going into lots of details, of course. And that's why your loved ones are coming around you more, like especially my dad, as I mentioned. Like I've been going through a lot personally myself. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So he's been coming into my dreams and showing me a lot of different things. And I'm so grateful. So grateful. Really pay attention to, what it is being shown in your dreams. Like seriously, pay attention to that. And pay attention to your animals as well. They're very sensitive, very, very sensitive. They do feel these energies, and it's during certain higher energy times, your animals can pass away, right? Like, oh my goodness sakes, like people are like, Jeni, did you get the dog? And I'm like, no, I just can't. I just, even though I'm an animal communicator and I communicate with my Bella, my dog, every day, it's still so heartbreaking, like, yes, I can hear her messages and see her and all of those things, but it's not easy because I miss her. I miss her. I don't miss her medical conditions and the suffering she had to go through. No, but I do miss her. I truly do. I'm going with the flow right now, and realistically, maybe later on next year is when I might get another dog, depending on where I'm at, what's going on, and certain things like that as well, right? So you have to go by what feels right for you, what truly feels right for you, no matter what other people say. Jeni, get a dog, it'll make you feel better. I will do that when it's still right for me. Oh, Jeni, don't get a dog. I will do what I feel is right for me. It's really important to do that, you guys, right? So you might find as well the planets affects our body parts in different areas, the 7th and the 9th, gentlemen especially. You might find that your prostate, anus, and genital areas might be a little bit more off and sensitive. And it's during these times as well that your animals feel the same thing. They really do. The 10th and the 11th, your thighs, your liver, your hips might feel a little bit more sensitive. Your digestive system even might feel off this week as you're shifting into a higher frequency, because the energy of the eclipse is all about health, wellness, emotional as well, and relationships. There's so much more with that as well. So especially if you're seeing somebody with a lot of health issues right now and concerns, be very careful. Be very careful. If you really feel that, you know what, I better go see that person. I better call them. I better, you know what I'm saying? It's expect the unexpected. So you might find on the 14th to the 15th, your calf, ankle, shin area might be a little off as well. Be gentle with yourself when you're stretching. It doesn't matter if you're an athlete or not. The energies are more sensitive this year, being a universal 8 year and so on and so on. So Start creating certain things you still want to work through. Try not to let that fear tactic of these so-called leaders throw that down you. And family or friends or your partner, doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter. There's certain people that want to control you and manipulate you and all of those kinds of things. What you allow continues. Sometimes we have to, make certain changes that we might not want to make. Reflect, write it down on paper. How is this going to benefit me? What's the negative qualities about this situation or this person? It's really, really, really important. Really, really important. Really important. You always tune in and join me live on YouTube and get a free reading, or you can book a reading with me. soulworkwithjeni.com. So anyways, I'm going to pull a couple of cards here. The cards that fell on the floor that I knocked off, I'm not going to pick them up. They're not meant to be in the video. Okay, so the deck I'm going to be using here is Wild Woman Rising by Angie Sullins. There you go. I love the wolf in this energy. I'll be putting more of my photography up when I spent time with the wolves, by the way, if you follow me on Jeni Ji photography on Instagram. I might even post some of it on my other personal account, Jeni Ji Cousins, on Instagram too. I don't know. I just kind of go with the flow. So anyways, what is the message from the 7th to the 13th collectively? Now, if you resonate with this card, that is specifically more a message for you. So when somebody books a reading with me, I'm clairvoyant. I don't use cards. However, when I'm on YouTube here, I'm doing it more collectively to see what the message is from the spirit world, right? Because when I do a one-on-one with you, I'm reading just you, not collectively with the world. So, alrighty now, 7th to the 13th, what is the message? What is the message from the spirit world? Message from the spirit world. Oh, that looks really autumny, equinox. Gather your loyalties. Oh, it does. Can you see the fall color autumn leaves? Like, this isn't an autumn deck. It's a deck. It's just a normal deck. But can you see how gather your loyalties? Like, gather as I talk about what is important to you. What and who do you need to let go of? Because when you are not letting go, what is toxic to you, if it's a habit, if it's a person, if it's a situation, that equinox with this eclipse is going to step in. And what is equinox? What does the autumn stand for? Change. Change is the only thing that's constant in our world. That's it. That's it. You can start something today and instantaneously things change in a second. A second. So the autumn is the time where there's change from seasons. So I love the autumn. It's one of my favorite times of the year. I love the colors of the trees, and the days aren't as hot and the nights start to cool down. Mind you, winter can move in here in Alberta, Canada at any given time, which is really minus 40s. And oh my God, I heard the forecast for I don't even want to talk about it. But anyways, we're not going to go there. I can ramble on and on and on. So now, what is the message from the 7th to the 13th? Oh, the deck here I'm using, the Oracle of Portals by Tess Whitehurst. Let's see if you guys can see that. There you go. Kind of cool how that kind of fades in and out, right? So what's the message from the 7th to the 13th? The message from the 7th to the 13th. 7th to the 13th. 7th to the 13th. What is the message collectively from the spirit world? Message collectively on the spirit wheel. Make sure you guys clear your cards as well before you use them. I clear my decks before I even bring it on here. What is nothing? All right. Initiation. Yes. So with this eclipse, it's very powerful. We are moving into the new way. Initiation could be having a baby, getting married. It's like a new life opening up for you, making these transitions, being open to change, being open to change that is healthy for you. New initiations, getting married, endings, sudden this, sudden that. That's why it's really, really important to stay within the integrity of your soul, and just see what works for you and especially what doesn't, and especially people from the past coming back. Be very mindful and be very, very careful, very careful, because there's a lot of karmic lessons this month, especially. So that's why it's important to really reflect back onto, what, let me reflect back onto that job or person or relationship or situation or whatever it is. What did I truly learn from that? Because if you don't learn, it will repeat itself and get difficult and harder and more challenging. And sometimes we have to go through certain karmic situations again until we're like, you know what, I'm done. I finally am, have the situation resolved within my mind, with this person or situation or whatever it is. And don't ever judge anybody for the path they're walking on, because we all have our own journey to walk upon. I'm always grateful for certain things, and lessons are always painful, of course, you know what I mean? But it's like, okay, what did I learn from that? Right? Learn from that. Even if, I get attacked on social media, let's say, I ignore it because I know who I am. I know what my intentions are. So some people just like attention. Start playing the victim, you'll drop them. Okay, so 7th to the 13th message. It's a message. Wow. Okay. Honeymoon. Oh, enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. How many of y'all going away in the autumn for a vacation or a honeymoon? Like I said, this eclipse can bring in expected unexpected. Who's getting married? Maybe you're going to get proposed to this month. Maybe this past person is coming back and you're going to be like, oh, la la. I'm just saying. There could be very well be a honeymoon phase with this person, and even you might, plan something that you're very, very passionate about. And you're going to be like, oh, I just love this. I'm doing something I really love. I'm very passionate about it. And it's just in that mode of feeling right. That could be a honeymoon within your own being and your own self as well. So that's why it's like, do things you like to do. Don't put your life on hold waiting to find someone to do things with. Start doing things yourself. When am I going to meet my person? When am I going to meet my person? Things come together at the right divine timing. Look back on your previous relationships. What did you learn from that? What qualities are you looking for in a partner? What exactly do you want? Be very specific with what you're wanting, because if you don't, you can attract what you're looking for, of course. But then you can be like, oh my gosh, Jenny, I met this person and oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm just saying, be really careful. Be really careful. All right, so let's top it up here from the 13th to the 17th. Wow, right away. Now, I talked about this eclipse about health, right? Health, mental well-being, physical well-being, emotionally well-being, spiritually well-being. And some of you might be finding that, geez, you know what? Like, I can't eat those same foods anymore. Maybe I'm going to start more of like cutting back on certain foods, or like a plant-based diet. Or maybe I'm going to start, maybe I need more protein. Maybe I just need to cut out these sweets, or like whatever it is. You'll find that once you start doing I heard detox coming through. So if there's somebody out there that specifically saying, should I do a detox? Yes. I'm hearing that really, really loudly. And even as you're doing a detox is clearing out toxic people around you, toxic situations as well. You know, because if you start making certain dietary changes as well, if you still have the same toxic people around you, that can trigger you into going back into more addictions, into changing your mindset from positive to negative. This is why it's really, really important to surround yourself with people who are positive, who support you in a positive way. Because if you don't, who you hang around with is who you become. So if you're hanging around with people that live in that fear modality, that live in that, that's never going to happen. Why are you doing that? Why are you planning on booking your trip there? Why are you planning on living your life this way? Like, who the hell do you think you are? Seriously, you each have your own life. You each have your own journey. You are getting tested, hugely tested by the universe to see what you will put up with. There's a lot of fear tactics, as I mentioned. There's a lot of fear going into this and this and this and that. Oh, if you don't do this, this is going to happen. Oh my God. A lot of that is going on because that's what these so-called leaders and organizations want you to hear and feel, so they can make money from you and control you with a leash around your neck. Just saying. So anyways, now, please like my videos, subscribe to my channel to get notifications on new videos and such like that. Let me know where you guys are at. There goes my phone. That person can wait. There's never anything that is of importance that can't wait. If this is a death call, I'm going to hear about it anyways, right? So no need to even edit out my phone to my team. Don't worry about it. It's really important to allow things to happen as is. Okay? Now, thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. Follow me on Jeni Ji Cousins Instagram. I will follow you right back. Tune in and join me right here on YouTube on the 27th of September, Friday at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, to have a free reading from Jeni. I will talk to you all later. Now